everyone. So recently, I've got an increasing number of questions from my friends regarding CFA, where the most popular two are whether they should go for CFA and the preparation strategy. So I feel it would be meaningful to make this video to share my experiences with all of you. Hope it can offer some insights and help.
My experience. So I've passed all of the 3 levels within 1.5 years. Specifically, I got my CFA level 1 in December 2017. Then I passed the level 2 in June 2018. Lastly, I got my level 3 in June 2019, which is the most recent one.
I'm quite grateful for passing all these exams in one go, which are partly attributed to the good advice from my friends and seniors. So I would say being proactive for advice and discussion is highly encouraged. Okay, I think it will be good to start with an overview of the CFA program. The full name is Chartered Financial Analyst, which is awarded by the American-based CFA Institute. It stands for the highest level of global recognition for qualifications in investments and financial fields.
As of August 2020, there are in total around 163,000 CFA charter holders worldwide, among which USA has taken up the largest portion, 41.1%, followed by Canada, and UK has ranked the third one. Based on the CFA official report, the top 5 employers of CFA charter holders are JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, UBS, BlackRock, you name it.
Having said so, personal opinion is that there is no absolute good, bad things per se. Even though CFA is a mark of distinction, whether it's right for you really depends on whether it matches your need or not. Well, I think 2 essential factors to be considered here.
The first factor is job relevance. I think the most related fields are the roles with a focus on investments, including portfolio management, private equity, private bank, equity and credit research for both buy side and sell side. CFA will not only help you consolidate the knowledge that you need for your investment job, the recognition also helps add points from your employer and investors. Although not as essential, CFA is increasingly visible on the jobs including investment bank, consultants, and especially for those who focus on financial services and in-house business development.
And one thing to clarify is that I think CFA yields benefits to all finance-related jobs, but just varying with extent. If you are committed to a career in finance, then doing CFA is at least no harm with a likely large upside room. But to gain this, for sure, you have to invest time and brain. And the second factor is your desire for investment knowledge. In the current time, it's really important to make the suitable investment. Don't miss financial markets where money can make money. CFA provides a very systematic training from asset allocation to financial products, from budgeting to risk management. So, like for me, my biggest motivation to get CFA done is exactly that I want to know how to invest more smartly. However, to pass CFA is not an easy thing, especially for level 2 and 3. On top of interests, mindset and approach are playing crucial roles in this process. Now, Let me share my approach first. Mine's not easy, as my goal is to ensure the pass rate as far as possible. In the same time, this set of approach is useful and efficient because my study principle is to maximize every input utility, and the fact that I passed all the exams proved its validity.
Here is my review schedule for CFA 2 and 3, consisting of 4 key steps across 3.5 months. I was working full-time during that period, so the study time was only weekends and holidays. Now, I'm gonna elaborate on each step. What are the purposes, useful tools, and the traps to be avoided? So the first one is to review notes. I allocated 1.5 months. The notes we used are the ones published by Kaplan-Schweizer. See this? And one thing to be emphasized is that please do use the most updated version. The purpose of this step is to help you figure out the framework. So what are the contents included, how the sections are organized, etc. In my level 3, I just made such catalog, along with the key point summaries, which I will touch on later. So such framework acts as a very good navigator, especially you will know where to find the relevant contents. And one thing for this step, at least try skimming through all of the contents once. It's really necessary. The second step is to start practicing. I would suggest 1 to 1.5 months for this step. Like for me, I did it from April 15th to May 25th. Here, always choose the CFA official exercise because they are most representative. I directly use the online question bank to practice, which you can find via your CFA learning portal.
And the main purpose of this step is to find out the exam focus. Like, what are the hot topics to be tested and how they are structured in the questions. On the first attempt, you might find it quite hard with no idea where to start analyzing and may end up with a very low accuracy rate. Well, that's my case. But it's really fine. What matters is the after practice R&D. R, research. Make sure you thoroughly understand each question and the related knowledge.
For example, in CFA Level 2, I found pension accounting quite important, but a bit hard for me, given that I'm not from an accounting background. Here's what I did in my summary. These are all key concepts. Like for total periodic cost, I just summarized the 3 formulas that could arrive at it. And for the others, I studied them by splitting into IFRS and US GAAP. This is because the exam usually will specifically choose one to ask. And lastly, I would also conclude some exam points here for the later review. Let me pick up another 2 to see. Financial assets. Apparently, this is a very hot topic in the exam. So I studied, I made a summary by the entity type, say associates, business combination, joint venture, and other issues. So here are mainly the 5 items that like we need to know what's the difference between IFRS and US GAAP situations. And see the summary for economics. So this is another style, more simple and mainly bullet point based. See here, I extracted out the Mondale-Fleming table. I love Chinese, so sometimes I'll just use the combination. And like here is the different economic growth models, and along with those key points followed. Now, let me touch on my package for CFA 3. So I insert my summaries into two places. Like in the behavioral finance part, I listed out all of these buyers' names that we need to know, created such shortcut for me to easier remember. I wrote down my own understanding with the key points consolidated from both exercise and notes. Here is a small comparison between the bias of regret aversion and loss aversion. So how the people with these two biases will behave differently under the situation when their holding stocks already go up and the opposite position. Yeah, and I also concluded some exam angles. Let's see one more part, equity market valuation. So here, I collected all of the models that could be tested and followed by their formulas. The third column are those key testing points, such as the sources of return, pros and cons, and some interpretations. The other type I did were the three thematic ones. 专题总结 in Chinese. Sounds very cool. For example, this is my thematic summary for the exotic option strategy. I'm sort of proud to say this summary should contain all of the possible testing points. Follow me to see it. So it includes covered call, protective put, bull spread, bear spread, seagull spread, butterfly spread with calls, puts, straddle, strangle, collar, box spread, you name it. For each strategy, it follows the order of starting with a profit or say price chart, and then the purpose. So under what market situations you will use such strategy in order to generate income, and how to construct it, as well as the extreme result situation, like what is the maximum profit, loss, and break-even price. This is an example of portfolio analysis. I made this graph to differentiate the three return components, and they are market return, excess return, and active return. Then I just marked the sources of return correspondingly. The 6 sources of return are popular topics to be tested. The motivations for me to do the breakdown is that such breakdown makes things much easier to remember compared with if you just read the dim words. For the parts of private wealth management, it's almost 100% to be tested in the morning asset part. So I just listed out all of the possible factors that will affect an individual's risk-bearing ability, which are collected from the notes and exercise. And for the sentences highlighted in blue, these are just some solution suggested answer. I found like remembering them will be helpful in making my writing more professional. And also for pension, it's a special institutional investor. So here are just like different factors that will affect a pension's ability to bear risk. Here, I want to highlight that the summary sheet is really helpful. In the process of making it, more than just reviewing the knowledge, you directly combine it with the question design, which is to say, you go straight to familiarize the testing angle. The summary sheet is incredibly helpful in your later review stage, and especially on the days right before the exam. They will act as very good charges and make you calm.
Another point is that do not directly go to read answers. Even though you may have lots of mistakes, but as long as you do think, you will get a much deeper understanding when you review the solutions later.
And the third step is to practice mock exams.
Please set aside a block of time to do the mock and simulate at least once a 3-hour exam. Otherwise, you may not get used to the real exam setting, so that you can't keep the concentrations.
You will find a lot of mock questions you've already met in the question bank. So this then will be a great opportunity to test your understanding level. For CFA 3, the mock is actually split into the casebook, which is the morning session, and the multiple, the afternoon sessions. After you have done the mock, same things apply, which is to enrich your summary.
The last step is to repeat and memorize. Finance is a subject combining the features of both arts and science, so you're gonna memorize it with understanding. I found actually a lot of people are interested in CFA, but either they are standing in a hesitated situation, thinking whether it's really worthy to do so, or they've already started the review process but with slow progress. If you are in the first situation, you can watch the related parts in my video and feel free to discuss your questions with me. If you are in the second case, where you've already made up your mind to earn the CFA, then I think it would be good to realize that, first of all, CFA is like the wine spirit. The earlier you got, the longer you held, the higher value it will bring to you. Procrastination just makes things uninteresting. So I will suggest the mindset to be, I want to pass it. I need to pass it. So eventually I can pass it. Thank you so much for watching the video. And if you like it, please subscribe my channel to support me. For any questions related to any level of the CFA, or you want to know more about my notes or summaries, feel free to leave your comments and I will answer them in due course. Thank you.